insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Philippine President Marcos has declared a state of emergency after a powerful storm left at least 114 people dead, more than 100 missing in the country's central provinces.
Typhoon Kalmaegi dumped the equivalent of a month of rain on the island in just 24 hours, sending torrents of mud and debris down mountainsides and into urban areas. Video taken by residents showed scenes similar to those from a tsunami, with cars and shipping containers being churned and pulled along by the current. Nearly 500,000 people were forced to stay in emergency evacuation centres. Many more found shelter on whatever high ground they could reach.
The BBC's Jonathan Head. The Israeli military says Hamas has handed over remains believed to be of a deceased hostage to the Red Cross in Gaza. According to the military, the remains are being brought to Israeli forces to be returned to Israel. News and analysis at townhall.com. Japan has called up the military to fight an invasion of bears.
The large critters have terrorized residents in a number of areas and have been seen near schools, train stations, and even homes. 12 people have been killed, more than 100 injured in bear attacks across Japan since last April. The troops will set traps and assist local hunters, but will not use rifles. Why so many attacks? Experts say the bears are becoming bolder and venture closer to residential areas in search of food. Jason Walker reporting.
Shareholders of Tesla set to decide whether Elon Musk has a shot at becoming the world's first trillionaire. At an annual meeting in Austin, Texas, they'll be voting today on a new pay package for Musk, already the world's wealthiest man. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to the John Fredericks Radio Network. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. And since it's a Thursday morning, here in studio, drinking his delicious coffee that I made from this morning.
Yes.
The one, the only, the original All-Star panelist, Crom Carmichael.
Greetings, kind sir.
Am I still kind?
Yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are.
Well, Crom, it's that time of day again. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which, as you know, is brought to you every day at this time by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here is the Morning Rundown for Thursday, November 6, 2025. Number one, get your handkerchief on. Crom, I know you're going to shed a tear or two. Nancy Pelosi's made it official. She's going to retire from Congress. And we have some parting words from her, and they're not kind. Number two, yesterday, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the tariffs case. It extended for about almost 3 hours. And a lot of people are trying to read the tea leaves from the questions. The questions were tough. They were very tough. But I think it would be premature to kind of predict where they might go. Number three, angry Mamdani. Yeah, he won, but he's angry, Crom. I don't know if you knew that. He's a mad Muslim. He's a mad Muslim Marxist. And already the fire chief has said he's going to resign, like in 1 month, because he doesn't think he and Mamdani will be compatible. I don't think they will be. Number four, I love this move by Governor Bill Lee. Did you see this, Crom? Governor Bill Leahy has invited New York City businesses to move to Tennessee. That's a pretty good move, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Number 5, I know this will shock you, Crom, but all of the hotshot political analysts about the blowout wins for Democrats in blue cities and blue states on Tuesday. New York City, Mamdani won. Spanberger won in Virginia as governor. The attorney general in Virginia, the candidate who wants to kill his enemies, he won by 6.5 points.
Yep.
Yikes. And then Mikey Sherrill won handily in New Jersey as governor. It was a big win for teachers' unions and government employee unions.
Yes, it was.
Someone I know, Crom, has been talking about that for some time.
30 years.
That would be you. Number 6, related to this, the youth vote for Mamdani. Did you see this? If you didn't see it, I'll play quickie quiz with you. What percentage of voters in New York City under the age of 30 voted for Zoran Mamdani?
You mean who voted?
What of those who voted?
78%.
75%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Makes the very bad point. We'll get to that in a bit. So there you go. That is the morning rundown for Thursday, November 6, 2025. Crom, you know who's brought to you by?
The Glock Store.
It had very good.
What a guess.
What a guess. It brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. And, of course, our friend Lenny McGill, Mr. High Energy, Mr. Entrepreneurial Genius, the founder of the Glock Store. They've been a sponsor of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show for years now. You remember when we were back at iHeart at the ungodly hour of 5 o'clock in the morning, and we called it the Tennessee Star Report with Michael Patrick Leahy. They were a sponsor back then. I've been lucky enough to go to every one of the incredible yearly Glock Store open houses. But, Crom, this year they've got more. They've got their sights set on Black Friday. That's a big holiday,
Yes,
shopping thing.
Big shopping
day after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
It's an event you, Crom, are going to want to try and attend. I'll attend from wherever you are in the United States of America. The details are now just coming together. But, Crom, if I had to guess, here's what I'm thinking. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Huge discounts on everything, including Glocks, tons of giveaways, great food trucks. Their food trucks are really good.
Ooh.
You've been there for the food trucks.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Maybe some live music and tons of giveaways. Did I mention that?
You did.
Tons of giveaways.
But you should mention it 3 times.
No one does.
Can we go for 4?
Tons of giveaways. Boom. No one does giveaways like the Glock Store does giveaways. Now, of course, all the great Black Friday deals will also be available online, but the real party will be at the Glock Store right here in Nashville, just a few miles from the airport.
What time does it start?
Well, these are details that will be delivered to us.
Oh, okay.
But I would guess Black Friday, doors open 9 o'clock, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the Black Friday celebration from Lenny McGill and the one and only Glock Store, minutes from the Nashville airport. And if you're not in Nashville, worth the drive from anywhere. Or if you're way out in, let's think about it, Seattle, Washington, and you want to get away from Seattle, Washington, as many people do these days.
Yes.
Just hop on a plane. And it's just a few miles from the
right.
airport, especially on Black Friday. So there you go. That's the morning rundown. Well, Crom, I know we're so sad to learn that Nancy Pelosi is retiring. And she is going out with, shall we say, the grace and style that has typified her reign as the Speaker of the House on 2 separate occasions. Here she was with Brett Baer talking about her good friend Donald Trump. Clip 1. Clip 7,
called former Speaker Nancy Pelosi your mentor. She said this about the President of the United States the other day.
It'll sound like I'm awful about Trump because he's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth, but anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah, I do. Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States.
A vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth. Do you stand by what your mentor, Congresswoman Pelosi, said about the President?
Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Emerita Pelosi, is a legendary figure, a hero. She's done so much for so many over so many years. She speaks powerfully, she speaks authentically, she speaks eloquently on issues of importance to the American people.
Even in that moment?
As I indicated, Nancy Pelosi is a
Okay,
legend.
you know, these guys are just, it's a pure, brutal power play.
No, but this is where we are.
Yeah, this is where we are.
This is where we are. I mean, what Nancy Pelosi said, you can say, oh, it's despicable, it's all these different things. You can say all that. What Jay Jones says is 10 times as bad, but yet he got elected when the electorate was fully aware of what he said. So this is now where we are. We are approaching a tipping point.
Yeah.
In the country where we're going to be moving from extremely violent rhetoric to violence. I don't see any way to tamp it down because one side tells the other to tamp it down, but now Mamdani actually said turn the volume up.
He said turn the volume up.
Turn the volume up. So he is and he was screaming when he was saying this.
Very angry.
Yeah. So he's
very angry guy.
Yeah. So he's kind of looking for, but Michael, this election, Republicans need to really look at what happened in the election, what the issues were, how the issues were framed, and Republicans are going to need to have a response, and I'm happy to talk about what those responses might be.
Can you give us a hint right now?
Yeah, I can.
We got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you do it in 2 minutes?
Our health care system is essentially determined by the oligarchs in Washington, like Bernie Sanders, who is an oligarch, like Barack Obama was an oligarch and still kind of is because he's in that ruling class. And so what Republicans need to run on is a demand that insurance companies cut their premiums $1,000 a month and that money goes into savings accounts for all of the people whose premiums have been cut, and then full price transparency by the providers of health care so that people can buy their health care directly. And if they don't spend the money on health care, they can save the money. So it's their money, not these insurance companies' monies. They are the ones who need to be attacked.
Crom Carmichael for Congress.
There you are.
Back with more after this.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good-paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Welcome.
Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the one, the only, the original All-Star panelist, my good friend for over 30 years, Carmichael Crom. You said something very insightful in the last segment, and I wanted to follow up on that for a moment. You know, the Democrats in the Senate have decided to shut down the government.
Mm-hmm.
There was a continuing resolution which was presented to them that they voted against.
Many times.
A continuing resolution, in essence. So the federal budget ends, its fiscal year ends September 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't get agreement on spending, what you do, what has been the practice is they put together a continuing resolution which says, you know, all the money we were spending that last fiscal year, we're going to just keep spending it that way for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So the original proposal, the continuing resolution, would have extended the operation of the government from October 1st to November 21st.
Mm-hmm.
That was how long? A little less than 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
52 days. And the Democrats, it passed the House. No Democrat voted for it, barely.
One.
Who
has announced he's not running for re-election.
Ah, which one was that?
The one from Maine.
Oh, yeah.
I think his name is Golden.
Okay, he's not running.
Okay. Whatever his name is,
okay.
he announced he's not running for re-election.
I stand corrected then. But in the Senate, the continuing resolution, only 3 of those who caucused with the Democrats came over.
Mm-hmm.
It's 53, and then Rand Paul, because he always is being Rand Paul, just wouldn't vote for it.
Yeah.
But it lost, when I say lost, 55-45, meaning because of the filibuster rule, you have to have, in a situation like this, you have to get 60 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Since October 1st, There have been, I think, now 14 votes in the Senate. The Democrats have shut each one down. They have not voted for it.
Yep.
And so, much of the government, not all of it, maybe 25% of the government's been shut down. Federal employees are not getting paid. The military has been able to be paid in the first pay period because Trump moved stuff around. In the second period because a billionaire gave him a bunch of money. And but now, this upcoming pay period, they're not going to get paid. Air traffic controllers aren't going to get paid. Everything's shutting down. Congressional staffers are not getting paid, but congressmen are.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Social Security payments are being made, however. So, having said all that, the Democrats have been claiming that the reason that the main reason, there are a couple others, like, giving $1.5 trillion in health care to illegal aliens, like giving, $1 billion to left-wing PBS, things that were taken out of the budget, but they want to put them back in. But the other thing, and it really irritates me that we've not identified the hypocrisy of this more clearly. There are certain tax credits for Obamacare which are set to expire at the end of this year.
Set to expire at the end of this year because Democrats voted previously to have them expire at the end of this year.
Right.
Because they were passed because of the COVID emergency.
Right. Now they want to extend those tax credits after January 1st. And rather than pass the continuing resolution and then initiate debate and discussion about it, they want that deal all done before. Well, it's a bad deal for this reason. Why, Crom, is it that the Democrat-supported, no Republican-supported Obamacare in the Affordable Care Act in 2010 when it passed? I was up there on Capitol Hill opposing it in the crowd. Spoke on the west lawn of the Capitol about it, along with like 25 other people. But I spoke on the Capitol for it, and to oppose it. It's a bad economic plan. Obama promised if you want to keep your doctor, you will. That was a lie. The premiums have gone way up. Deductibles have gone way up. It is a complete government
run. And that's on all other insurance.
Yeah, it's a complete disaster.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that the Democrats caused the problem with Obamacare and affordability problem. And now they're using that as a political wedge issue to hit Republicans over the head.
Do you know why they want exactly what they're saying they want?
Tell me.
Because it's very, very important. You have blue cities who have these retirement plans for employees who have worked for 30 years. So if you go to work for a city like Chicago or New York or any of these big cities, in fact, Nashville even has this. If you work for the city for 30 years, you can retire on your full pension in terms of your pension part. But now if you're 52 years old, what do you do about your health care if you decide to retire and take your full pension? Well, you don't have health care. So now these big blue cities have said, okay, well, if you retire, you get a wonderful health care benefit. Well, what the big cities, those are unfunded liabilities, by the way, because when they pass them, they do have long-term implications, but they never fund them in the short term. So they hit the budgets of these big blue cities every single year. So now the big blue cities have learned that if the Obamacare, and really what this gets down to, Michael, is it increases the ceiling that Obamacare benefits apply to. Historically, they've applied to only 400% of poverty. Well, people who retire from government after a 30-year premium are higher than 400%, but they're lower than what the Democrats want Obamacare to be increased to. So what the Democrats are doing is they want government employee union retirees, their health care to be dumped into Obamacare and then funded either by higher taxes on average people, higher premiums on average people, or giant deficits. So this is really all about the government employee unions' desire to foist the retirement benefits on health care onto the regular taxpayers. And that is not explained hardly at all in the media, but that you've heard it here. That is the main constituency on, and because what this is in essence, this is not really about tax credits. It's about increasing the ceiling that people who can qualify for Obamacare, and that is so that people who are over 50 but under 65 can be foisted on the taxpayers for their health care benefits. And so what this means is that Democrats don't care about the affordability of health care so long as they can get their constituents covered so that they're not having to pay for it, which gets into my solution on what Republicans should do.
Why aren't they doing it?
Why aren't they doing what?
Your solution.
Well, apparently they haven't thought about it yet, or if they have thought about it, they've decided that it's just beneath them. But we are now at a point where if you look at the single word that mattered in this last election, it's the word affordability.
Ding, ding, ding.
Now,
you heard it all the time from the Democrats. The irony of it.
Yep.
We're not even in news potpourri, but I have to hit the irony. Why is health care not affordable? Because of Obamacare.
But yes, because
and other things.
Because of Democrat policies.
Yeah, Democrat policies.
Democrat policies in general. Why is housing? What is fascinating is this: is New York City has been run by Democrats for almost all of the last 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
The high cost of living in New York City is a result of Democrat policies over the last 70 years. So the affordability problem is because of the policies of Democrats. Mamdani very cleverly ran on the affordability issue, and his solution is going to be to take the bad policies that the Democrats have employed over the decades and actually put them on steroids. So he's going to make things much, much worse, but he'll probably do it with a smile. And the lady who won Mikey Sherrill,
yeah,
she ran on affordability, and all of her solutions that she's listed on her website. She lists all the problems, then she lists her solutions, which will make the problems worse.
Yes,
but the Republicans have not had an answer. And Michael, I would like to, in the next segment, I'd like to provide an answer that Republicans should run on, because if they don't address the affordability issue, they'll lose.
We'll talk about the answer with Crom after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
If you're talking about it, Wendy's talking about it.
Republicans want to starve children.
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children.
Well, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is.
Do they not know that we're all aware of these tactics, that they sucked 50 years ago when they used the same playbook? Your plays are stale. We don't have enough
to eat. Wendy Bell, weekdays at 6 on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced Nutrition Company, Healthy Cell. created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to HealthyCell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's HealthyCell.com. HealthyCell.com.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke, she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress. This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Are you ready for it? Crom Carmichael is ready to deliver it. What, Crom, is the solution in healthcare?
It's not just healthcare. This addresses the affordability issue in general, healthcare specifically.
Affordability, which is, the word used by all of the Democrats who won big.
Yes.
Who won big on Tuesday.
Because, by the way, healthcare is driving the affordability issue in everything else.
Yes, it is.
It is driving the affordability interest in grocery prices, housing, energy. It drives it everywhere because our healthcare system is so far out of whack. And
let me just emphasize that. Yeah. It is totally out of whack.
Yeah.
It is a major market in which no one ever knows the price.
It's not a market. That's the point.
Tell me.
It's an oligarchy. I mean, it's Bernie Sanders.
Well, an oligarchy is a kind of market, but keep rolling.
No, oligarchy is where a small group of people determine how other people will live. And so within healthcare, Bernie Sanders is the ultimate oligarch in Washington, D.C. He rails against oligarchy. He is an oligarch because he's the one who wants to have the government set all of the terms and conditions in regard to healthcare. He wants to be able to do that. And but let's just break this down. We now spend $15,000 per person per year on healthcare in this country. So I'm just going to ask people who are under 40, if you've got a family of 4, are you all spending $60,000 a year on health care? Are you actually consuming $60,000? If you're an individual who's under 40, are you spending out of your own pocket? Are you consuming $15,000 worth of health care a year? And the answer is no. Almost no one consumes $15,000 of health care a year. So where is the money going? The money is not going to the providers who provide us health care. It's going to the insurance companies that run the health care system because Bernie Sanders wants it that way. So my solution is simply this: to tax health care systems $1,000 a month on their premiums. $500 a month per person. So if it's a family of 4, the tax is going to be $24,000 a year. Insurance companies can, if they choose to, they can say, okay, well, if I've got to pay that, I'm no longer going to insure doctor visits. I'm no longer going to insure medical procedures that are done in an outpatient surgery center, because then I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it in HSAs for everyone, whether they are on Medicaid, whether they're on Medicare, whether they're on Obamacare. It doesn't matter. Every individual is going to get $500 a month put into an HSA. So a family of 4 is going to get $24,000 a year put into an HSA. If they then do not spend that money then accumulates and it grows, and within 2 or 3 years, that family of 4 can now use that money to buy a house, to pay for the down payment on a house. And by doing this, by the way, the cost of health care for those who provide us groceries, the farmers who grow the food, the distributors who distribute it, the grocery stores that provide the food at retail, their employees, the cost of health care for their employees will be dramatically less, and therefore food prices will go down. Housing prices will go down because construction costs for houses have a tremendous amount of health care built into the construction cost. So what I'm determined to do is recognize that the biggest single problem we have in this country is affordability, and it's driven by the ridiculous waste in our healthcare system. And the way to solve that is to give insurance companies the ability to opt out of insuring the low expense stuff, but in return for that, what you do is for the consumer is you put $500 a month in an HSA. So that makes it, if it's 2 people who are living together, if they're married, that's $1,000 a month that is going into an HSA. If they're younger and don't spend it, that money is going to continue to stay in their name and grow. And then who are the people who will fight this? Elizabeth Warren will fight this like a tiger. Bernie Sanders will fight this like a tiger.
But why? Crum?
Because the insurance companies are headquartered in their states. And so the left, which controls the Northeast, which is where all the insurance companies are located, except for United Healthcare, which is up there in Tim Walz's country, in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They will fight it like a tiger too. Frankly, the Blue Cross Blue Shields of the country will probably fight it. But if Republicans don't come up with a solution for affordability that actually has teeth in it, and not just say lower taxes and economic growth, then they won't win elections, and then you'll end up with a truly socialistic system that doesn't provide high quality care.
You mean like the United Kingdom
or Canada?
Yeah.
And I say this, Michael, because there's a guy named Keith Smith, who is a doctor who built a hospital in Oklahoma in 1997. I did not know this until recently. He built this hospital. He testified before Congress.
Are you telling me Mr. Smith went to Congress? Went to Washington?
Mr. Smith went to Washington, yes. and that was very, very clever. But what he said was his hospital only accepts payment in full, but he gives every single procedure that his hospital does, every surgery that the hospital does, he gives a cash a price to pay in full. In his testimony, he said that his hospital quoted a tonsillectomy, and I may get this $100 or so wrong, but he said it was $3,200, and it might have been $3,400. But he said the person that he quoted to, the other hospital quoted $72,000. And he says that he typically provides surgeries for 1/6 of the cost of other hospitals. And that's because he eliminates the cost of the insurance and all of that third-party coverage. And he does it by offering transparency in pricing. So the solution is to tax the insurance companies $500 per month for every single beneficiary, but give them the right to stop insuring stuff that has no business being insured. Require providers to offer full price transparency on a payment in full, and then provide the money into HSA so that younger people who are healthy will now have an account that grows in value that they can use to then buy a house. They can use to invest in the stock market for their retirement, or invest however they choose for their retirement. But this will address all of the affordability issues by lowering grocery prices, lowering the cost of building a home, and offer tremendous benefit to people who are under 40 years old, who are generally very healthy. Now, each state could easily set up a separate pool of money to people who are the exception, and those who have chronic problems that do cost more than what this benefit would cover. But they're the exception. So you do not design a system where you say, because there is an exception, we must apply the exception to the rule. And so that is my solution, and I hope that somebody is listening, because if Republicans don't specifically address affordability and specifically attack health care, then the midterm elections are going to be an absolute disaster for the country, not just for the Republican Party, because we're going to find out that Mamdani, and we're going to find out that Nikki Sherrill, if she actually does what she identifies all these problems, but then when you look at her solutions, they don't address the problem. She just did a really good job on the optics of her campaign of saying this affordability problem is all Trump's fault, and here's going to be my solution. And then her solutions are the Green New Deal, more solar panels. She says we're taxing ourselves to death. Our property taxes are too high, but she doesn't call for a reduction in property taxes.
She's going to increase them.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, she'll increase
they had the highest corporate tax rate in the country at 11.5%. Mamdani says that one of the things he's going to do is increase the corporate tax, to be in New York City to match that of New Jersey.
Which means
that Bill Lee's
commercial, hey guys, come on down to Tennessee,
will have an impact.
You know what was interesting about that is the way he framed it. He framed it, we've got all the resources here in Tennessee. Take advantage of those resources. But what he didn't do, he didn't say, we'll give you money to come down here.
No.
He didn't say, now, ironically, it's kind of interesting.
We'll save you money if you come.
Right. But here's the thing. The economic development guys, do sorts of deals of various sorts over the time. But I saw, Monty Fritz, who's the state rep up in East Tennessee, who's running for governor. He put out a clip saying, well, I don't like this because the governor's offering, Tennessee tax money. I think he got that wrong. Right. Money, I think you got it wrong. Right. In fact, we'll have him come in and say, money. I think you need to correct the record. I don't think the governor was offering money to them.
Yes. All he said is that our taxes are lower and our business regulations are a lot lighter.
Exactly.
That's what he said.
That's exactly what he said.
And both of those things are absolutely true.
Yeah, and he didn't say, here's a pile of money.
No.
Back with more after this. Good solution, Crom.
Thank you.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
Feel like you're doing everything right but not getting ahead? Join Lifestyles Unlimited in Richmond November 8th and 9th for a 2-day seminar that shows you how to build income and wealth with real estate. Thousands have used these strategies to change their financial direction, and you'll see exactly how it's done. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007 today. That's Richmond, November 8th and 9th. Text RADIO to 88007.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We're broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Crom, yesterday, oral arguments in the Supreme Court on the tariff issue. The president had used in a law that granted him emergency powers to put these tariffs in. And it's been sued in court. Ketanji Brown Jackson demonstrated once again in her questioning just how bad she is as a Supreme Court justice. Let's play this clip for her.
Did any president under TWIA use that language
to impose tariffs.
Well, yes, President Nixon's 1971 tariff.
Not a tariff. That wasn't a tariff. It was a licensing agreement during wartime. It was a specific thing. A tariff I'm talking about.
I'm referring to President Nixon's 1971 tariff.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yes, I thought you meant Lincoln.
Not only that, but then it was upheld by the Court of Appeals with exclusive jurisdiction under this very phrase.
Can I back you up just a second?
Okay, so she got it wrong. She wasn't listening. That was the guy with the raspy voice is the U.S. Solicitor General.
Okay.
By the way, I don't know, as an aside, if you're the Solicitor General,
yes,
you probably need a bit. You need more of a radio broadcast.
It'd be
voice.
better if you had, but he doesn't. But he obviously knew his facts.
He knew his facts, and in this instance,
and you knew the
she
difference.
wasn't listening.
Well, he knew the difference between Richard Nixon and Abraham Lincoln,
which apparently,
and when they each were president.
Yeah, and apparently,
which by the way was about a century apart.
A little bit more.
Well, but I mean, if I could see how Ketanji Brown Jackson would be confused, because it's it's just all it is a
century and a half.
It's just a century, and well, it's 110 years.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
easily confused.
1860 to 1970.
If you're listening closely,
yeah,
easily confused.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
She has her mind made up.
We have to cut her some slack. But the issue to me, the issue to me about this is this. What Trump is doing is he is using tariffs. Now, I don't know about the law part, about which laws apply and which ones that. But this idea that tariffs are not constitutional because the family, Greg Ip wrote a column in the Wall Street Journal, and it was all about whether or not the founding fathers thought that tariffs should be the province of the president. And all he's going on and on about the founding fathers. And let me say this, and so I commented. I said if our country operated the way the founding fathers originally drafted the Constitution, including the Bill of Rights and the other amendments, if it did, our federal government would be about 10% of the size that it is today. So we do not have a constitutional form of government in the sense of the original Constitution. The only thing we have today, is a Supreme Court that interprets the Constitution depending on the power, on which party is in power in the Supreme Court.
Well, that's an assertion. I'm not sure I completely agree, but keep rolling.
Okay. What I'm simply saying is that Obamacare. Do you think that Obamacare is constitutional under the original Constitution?
Now you're going back to the problem with...
But
you asked a question.
Okay, yes.
I'll be happy to answer.
Okay. I was looking for a yes or no answer.
Well, I was trying to give you an answer.
Oh, okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. So the problem with the Supreme Court's interpretation of Obamacare is the wavering of Chief Justice John Roberts, who said when Obamacare came before the court,
okay,
in NFIB v. Sebelius in 2012,
okay,
he said, well, for the purposes of the origination of this bill, all bills that are taxes must originate in the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
He said it wasn't a tax for that purpose, but it was a tax for another purpose. Now that's a little bit of...
So you're agreeing with me that the Supreme Court of today, or 10 years ago, did not follow how the original founders drafted the Constitution.
On the NFIB v. Sebelius decision,
okay,
which, as you know, was 5-4,
right,
which John Roberts, in a huge error,
okay,
just kind of concocted something from
John
nothing.
Roberts did, but the Supreme Court, the institution of the Supreme Court.
But you've got any number of others recently where the Supreme Court, in Bright Loper v. Raimondo, for instance, they 6-3 overturned the very bad Chevron precedent case from 1984 in which the Supreme Court said, well, you got to defer to these regulatory agencies. My point, though, is to contest your broader theme. Yes, there have been errors, but overall, of late, the Supreme Court has done a pretty good job of standing along with originalism.
Michael, I was not clear in what I said. So let me repeat it and try to be a little bit clearer.
You got a minute.
Okay.
You got 30 seconds.
Yeah. Roosevelt threatened the Supreme Court in the 1930s.
Yeah, with packing.
Since then, the Supreme Court has regularly, but not always, sided with the growth of government and the power of government.
Until the past 5 years.
But we're talking about a minuscule amount compared to the total.
Not so much.
And that's all my point.
I know your
my
point.
Yeah.
And it's a good one.
Thank you.
I don't agree with it, but it's a good one. Crom, as always, a delight to have you here.
Done?
We are done.
My goodness, that went fast.
It's fun.
It is.
Back with Tom Pappard after the break.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Weekday mornings start off right with the John Frederick Show. At 6 a.m., Tyler wakes you up like your favorite morning brew. Then get a full serving of the facts from America's Godzilla of Truth. He's your best connection for what's really going down. Add in the Peach Crew and the Virginia Gang. It's a real thing. The John Frederick Show, weekday mornings, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on the stations and platforms of the John Fredericks Media Network. Watch it live, jfmn.tv. Get the app, johnfredericksradio.com.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
WJFN, W224EB, 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB, 107.7 Bonaire, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFV Portsmouth.
Tower from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announces that she will not be seeking re-election.
After representing San Francisco for nearly 40 years in Congress, Pelosi will be retiring at the end of her current term. She was the first woman to become Speaker of the House, and she held the position twice. Pelosi's powerful leadership and liberal politics proved to be a thorn in the side of Republican Presidents George W. Bush and Donald Trump. At age 85, Pelosi will be stepping down at a time when many Democrats are clamoring for younger political leaders. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Airports in New York, L.A., and Chicago, along with hubs across the U.S., are among the 40 that will see their number of flights cut by 10% starting tomorrow because of the government shutdown. The death toll has risen to 12 in the fiery crash of a UPS cargo plane at the airport in Louisville, Kentucky. Federal Air Safety Investigator Todd Inman says there's evidence a left engine fell off prior to the crash.
A large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property.
Investigators now analyzing the plane's flight data recorder. A Texas federal judge has dismissed a criminal conspiracy charge against Boeing related to two 737 MAX crashes that killed 346 people. Boeing will have to pay or invest an additional $1.1 billion in fines, compensation for victims' families, and internal safety measures. Watching Wall Street, stocks are in the red. The Dow is down about 375 points. The Nasdaq 383 points lower. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, host of The Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving you money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And get this, you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Millions are going to the polls in eastern India. It's phase 1 of assembly elections in the state of Bihar. The BBC's Davina Gupta.
I'm at a public school where separate voting booths have been set up for men and women. Since early morning from 7 a.m. local time, people have been coming in, and most of them are women. They have historically turned out in higher numbers than men. In a state where nearly half the population lives in poverty, voters here want better education and jobs to improve their lives. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been campaigning here because it's a crucial test for his party, the BJP, which lost its outright majority in last national elections. He's seeking to solidify his voter base with a regional ally.
It is the deadliest natural disaster to strike the Philippines this year. President Marcos declaring a state of emergency after a typhoon left at least 114 people dead. News and analysis, townhall.com. Trump administration has decided not to offer the IRS's electronic tax filing system for free next year.
An IRS official informed state comptrollers in an email Monday that IRS Direct File will not be available in filing season 2026. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said better alternatives exist and the private sector can do a better job. The program faced criticism from Republican lawmakers who called it a waste of taxpayer money and from commercial tax preparation companies that have made billions from charging people to use their software. Keith Peters, Washington.
President Trump has marked his economic achievements on the anniversary of his election victory. Speaking at the America Business Forum in Miami, the president said the U.S. economy is thriving. However, he says Republicans often don't stress that message enough. He says they need to talk more about their achievements. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are joined on our Newsmaker Zoom line right now by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
So I want to start off with a little bit of a fun story. It's a story Caitlin Hausler wrote for us, but it's got a little few reverberations here in Tennessee. I think it's a good story. Governor Bill Lee, you saw this, Tom. He invited New York City businesses that are looking to flee New York City to come and set up shop in the state of Tennessee. And he did this with a video, and it's very typical, fun Tennessee. What he said is, if you're a New York business owner who doesn't like the direction your city is headed, we have a message for you. Tennessee is open for business. Strong economy, low taxes, government won't get in your way. Tennessee is a place for people who value opportunity, security, and freedom. How well do you think that's going to play with certain New York City businesses, Tom?
Well, Michael, I think some of them are looking at the map, so to speak. They might be to the point of throwing darts anywhere but New York at this point. So I think some of them it's going to play rather well. Now, of course, there's others that are going to go down with the ship. I also have a little bit of empathy for the Tennesseans out there. I think you were talking about one of them earlier who are saying, no, this is our secret. You stay away. Don't come to New York. Go to Florida.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now, in that message, Governor Bill Lee touted the state's low tax rate and workforce, said, quote, "We're ready to meet the needs for any industry. If you're looking for an opportunity, you found one in the state of Tennessee. We are open for business." Now, in reading that, sometimes you have to parse these things. I didn't see in that Governor Lee said, yeah, we're going to give you all these tax benefits. I think he's just saying, hey, we're a great place to do business. Did you see in that statement, Tom, did you see anything where he said, oh, yeah, come and apply for tax benefits from the state of Tennessee?
No, Michael, no, I did not. Now, you could argue maybe that was implied that if some major employer in New York were looking to relocate to Tennessee, that Bill Lee is saying, we're friendly and we'll negotiate. But I don't think that's what the governor meant, actually. I think the governor was actually having a bit of tongue-in-cheek fun after New York elected an actual communist. I think that Tennessee is going to really shine brightly over the next few years as a result of this.
An actual communist is now the mayor-elect of the city of New York. And I use the alliterative description of the guy. He's a mad Muslim Marxist who's now the mayor-elect of New York City, Mamdani. Boy, did you listen to his, quote, acceptance speech? That was angry.
You know, Michael, I saw the clips that were being played on your show and many others, and I think that really tells us everything that we need to know about this guy, but not just Mamdani, but this new Democratic Party, because this really is the party now. This is the bleeding edge of the Democratic Party. This is their equivalent to President Donald Trump. And it is, when you win, you don't have a little bit of grace and come out and say, complicated business. No. You don't have fun with it. No. When you win, you punish your enemies. That's what the Democrats are up to now.
There was no grace whatsoever in that speech on election night by Zoran Mamdani. Not one bit. I'll just say, you know, there's a term to describe people in Tennessee. Tennessee nice. It's actually true. People are very nice in Tennessee. If you're a business in New York City and you see the angry Mamdani saying he's going to tax you, he's going to increase your taxes so they're like equal to New Jersey. And then you hear, I mean, Bill Lee is a very nice fellow, right? I mean, earlier in his administration, I've been critical of a number of things, but he's really, the past year and a half, he's had a number of really great successes. A lot of that, you know, helped with the Tennessee General Assembly, the greatest attorney general of any state in the country, Jonathan Skrmetti. But still, you know, Tennessee nice and conservative. If you're in New York City and you're looking at this, I mean, Nashville or any place in Tennessee is looking really, really nice right now. I wonder, how many businesses in New York City are right now considering a move to? I mean, your options would be typically, right? What are the three top states to look to move to? Texas. A lot of the financial guys moved to Texas, Florida. Of course, you've got Wall Street South now in Miami, and then Nashville. Nashville, we've got healthcare, we've got Oracle here. We've got financial and insurance businesses. We've got the music publishing business. We've got a lot of entertainment here. I mean, if you're in New York City, boy, you got to be thinking Nashville, Franklin, Williamson County, looking like great places to move to. What's the over-under and how many businesses will move here?
Well, you know, Michael, it's not businesses, but we just saw the report, I think, 2 days before the election saying that 1 million individuals were planning to leave the city in essentially a mass exodus if Mamdani wins. And we've already seen resignations at the city government there as a result of his victory. Even the ADL is upset about it. So, Michael, I think you're going to see at least 10 to 15% of businesses in that city either just close up shop and go on welfare or flee the city.
I think they'll flee the city, right? Because if you're in business, I mean, you're not welfare oriented, at all, I don't think. Now, it's interesting. There's a little kind of political thing going on. Marsha Blackburn running for governor. The latest poll had, among likely Republicans that came out from the Beacon Center had her leading over John Rose and Monty Fritz, 58% for Marsha, 9% for John Rose, 5% for Monty Fritz. John Rose is a multimillionaire member of Congress, and it represents the 6th district now, which is, parts of Nashville and points east. And Monty Fritz is a state rep from up in East Tennessee. I talked about this before. John Rose, I think, has said he's going to spend like $20 million to win the governor's race. The primaries in August. I think he's spent like $5 million so far. Monty Fritz has spent like $5,000, maybe. And in the polling last time around, John Rose was at 14%. This time, he's only at 9%. Monty, with $5,000, is up to 5%. Now, he's got this little populist niche, and he put out a video, which I think, we need to get Monty on and talked about this, but I think it was factually incorrect. He was saying, oh, Governor Lee, don't go out and give money to New York City businesses to come here to Tennessee. I don't think that was what the governor's proposal was. Did you see that video? Did you have any reaction to any of that, Tom?
Yeah, I think it was a misunderstanding, and I think it maybe is a concern because not necessarily Bill Lee, but other Republican governors and Republican state leaders across the country, when they start saying, hey, we want businesses to come here, that does generally mean that you're offering some sort of tax incentive. But that's a later conversation. Bill Lee is simply saying to the millions of New York business owners, Tennessee is open for business. We'd love to have you come here. He's not pulling out the checkbook and bringing the General Assembly together and getting Cam Sexton and saying, all right, let's give the tax breaks to the New York Liberal Company. If and when that happens, I'm guessing Mike will be perhaps on board with Monty Fritz, but that's simply not what the governor said yesterday.
And I don't see, I know the leaders of the Tennessee General Assembly, I don't think they're going to be wanting to give money to New York City. Look, if you're a New York City business, there's enough reason to come here to Tennessee without any tax benefits or, giveaways. I don't see that happening at all. Well, when we come back, a tale of two due process rights. You know what I'm talking about. Due process for Marsha Blackburn not given by federal judge James Boasberg, but an array of attorneys are trying to give as much due process as they possibly can create to an illegal alien who has been charged with human smuggling. Back after this.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com. Or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good-paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter, with us on the Zoom Newsline right now. Tom, you know, Charles Dickens wrote this very famous book, A Tale of Two Cities. It's kind of the French Revolution, comparing somebody's experience in London versus Paris. Well, I think we now have a tale of two due process rights, right? On the one hand, we have an illegal alien who has been charged with human smuggling by the federal government. That guy is getting more due process rights than anybody in American history. And he's got, probably $10 million of legal fees, got the support of a whole bunch of federal district judges that are leaning over backwards to give him all sorts of rights. Then we have 9 U.S. senators whose due process rights were blatantly violated by a federal district court judge. I'm talking about the now infamous Washington, D.C. federal district court judge, James Boasberg, who on May 25th, 2023, sent a bunch of subpoenas to Verizon and AT&T, telling them they wanted the phone records for 9 Republican U.S. senators, and added a gag order in which he said, no, I am prohibiting you from telling these senators about this request for information because I have reasonable grounds that they will either try to destroy the evidence or intimidate a witness. He had no reasonable grounds, none whatsoever. That was a violation of the Stored Communications Act. the speech or debate clause of the Constitution, the separation of powers doctrine of the Constitution, also of the First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment due process rights of all those senators, including Marsha Blackburn. This just came out last week. Tom, Marsha Blackburn, our senator from Tennessee, had this to say about it yesterday.
Well, this web that we're untangling about what happened in Arctic Frost with Jack Smith and Judge Boasberg, who signed off on all these subpoenas and non-disclosure orders. Well, in addition to the 9 senators, he went after President Trump's phone and records. And now we're seeing how extensive this is. If they can do it to President Trump, if they can do it to U.S. senators, they can do it to you. The House should move immediately to begin impeachment proceedings on Judge Boasberg.
Okay, now that makes sense. Her due process rights were violated by a federal district court judge. Now, the latest on the millions of dollars that have been spent by the left to prop up and create from whole cloth due process rights for an illegal alien, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who entered the United States illegally way back in 2012, has a final deportation order in effect since 2019, and you broke the story in April of this year that he had been driving in November 2022 and had been stopped for speeding and for weaving, and they discovered he was driving without a valid driver's license. He had 9 illegal aliens in the vehicle, and he was driving a vehicle owned by a convicted human smuggler. But no, every federal district court judge involved here is bending over backwards to give this guy yet another break. Okay, what's the latest, Tom? Because we do this all the time. What's the latest?
Well, Michael, of course, the latest due process claim we talked about just the other day, that now they're so worried about due process that they're worried about due process for the Department of Justice. And the Obama-appointed judge in Tennessee, Waverly Crenshaw, has delayed the next hearing in the vindictive evidentiary hearing, I should say, where they're going to try to prove that the government just has it out for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They've delayed that until December. But the Department of Justice is still moving forward. They're trying to give this guy the due process he actually deserves, and yesterday announced to the court that 2 new experts were planned to testify at trial. One is an FBI expert who did all of the cell phone triangulation for Kilmar Abrego Garcia to determine what his route actually was back in November of 2022. Remember, he claimed that he had just passed through St. Louis and he was working on a construction job and he might be back in Nashville in a couple days, but he wasn't sure yet. They used, according to the government at least, they've used cell phone triangulations and towers to prove that he was lying to Tennessee Highway Patrol.
Let's go
he
to
was
that.
Never anywhere near where he said.
So we caught that back then because we did this in our documentary on it, right? Where we showed the path that he took, and it didn't add up. He claimed he'd gone. He was coming from St. Louis and was going towards Maryland. Well, the most direct route from St. Louis to Maryland doesn't go anywhere near Nashville, Tennessee. Not even close.
Of course.
You got that.
And he had started in Houston, and it made no sense. He was zigzagging across the country. I think when we added it up, it was something like 20 hours that he was claiming to the Highway Patrol that he had added to his journey for no real discernible reason. So now the FBI has reverse engineered this and will show his actual line of travel. It will be very interesting to see. The other expert, though, Michael, is a U.S. Border Patrol agent who will testify about how these human smuggling rings work, how they keep from being discovered, how they maximize profitability and how they generally operate. And remember, Abrego Garcia is alleged to be a member of this smuggling ring, I should say, for nearly a decade. And the smuggling ring allegedly has ties to MS-13 and other gangs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, do we have a sense of the testimony? In other words, you say the expert's going to come in and say he was nowhere near St. Louis. I think that's what he's going to say. Would you say that's probably what's going to happen?
I think that'll be part of it. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to probably show what Abrego Garcia claimed. You know, I was coming from St. Louis, we were in Houston, and we're going to be in Missouri, and then we're going to go back to Nashville. I think that they're going to show what he actually did. They're probably going to show a map not unlike the one that people can watch in the Michael Patrick Leahy Investigates documentary. And then this FBI expert, something kind of bizarre from this judge. This judge has doubted or expressed doubt about whether or not Abrego Garcia would bring his children on a smuggling trip, or whether children would be included on smuggling trips, whether people would really be sitting on the floor out of safety constraints, and whether any of this actually is what the prosecutors claim it is. When, I mean, if you read public reporting, it seems to me to fit the bill. So I think this Border Patrol agent will testify extensively about how these criminal rings usually operate and how Abrego Garcia may have been engaged in one.
Yeah, I think that's likely to happen. And look, what they're trying to do here, it seems to me, is delay. Because until this is resolved, other illegal aliens out there who are in line to be deported are going to say, well, look, you know, we're going to use the Kilmar Abrego Garcia plan, right? Except where are we in terms of the dollars and cents now that's being spent for his criminal defense and to fight the deportation, the legal deportation order that's been in effect since 2019? Where are we with that?
Well, Michael, I actually, just for kicks and grins over the weekend, plugged all of this into AI over the weekend.
Oh, you
I
did?
Described all of the various cases and all of the various lawyers, the 4 different law firms, including a firm that's previously done work for Elon Musk. And I just said, if you were a paying customer, how much would you pay for this? And AI actually agreed with me that it could be somewhere in the $5 million range. I don't think that this actually helps other illegal immigrants. I think this just helps the Democrats because, and I know we hear this from our radio listeners, they get frustrated about hearing about this guy. They just want him to be deported. And I think that's the entire purpose of this, is to try to wear out our side. But the Trump administration is clear. They're not going to let Kilmar Abrego Garcia go. He will never be free to roam the United States again. It's just a matter of time and the stick-to-itiveness of this administration.
Tom, great reporting, as always. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
When we come back, we'll give a summary of the oral arguments on the tariff case before the Supreme Court yesterday.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Before and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at beforeandaftergrooming.com. Before and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
The John Fredericks Radio Network is your home field advantage for Pittsburgh Steelers NFL football. Every play, every game, all season long.
Looking left and right, takes it, drops, waits, turns and fires, and this one is caught for a touchdown in the front of the end zone, and it's Max Sperlman.
John Fredericks Network is your home for Pittsburgh Steelers football. Hit johnfredericksradio.com/sports for schedule and game time.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke, she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress. This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, we talked about this before, that there were a number of arguments made in oral arguments before the Supreme Court yesterday. It lasted about 3 hours. And this was about the Trump tariff. Now, Congress passed a law which gave the president certain emergency powers, which actually no president has used those for tariffs until Trump did. And there are two kind of questions to be asked here, the issues before the court. 5 companies that were impacted by the tariffs are the litigants in this case. They're represented in court by this guy, Neil Katyal, who fancies himself the very best Supreme Court attorney in the country. He's pretty much a lefty. He was with the Obama administration. I think he may have been Solicitor General with them, but and he clearly hates Donald Trump. But he's respected as an effective attorney. And so he was there. And then the U.S. government Solicitor General, that's the guy who makes the argument before the Supreme Court. That guy's Joe Sauer. He's got kind of a raspy voice. You'll notice that here. And the question is the imposition of a tariff, number one, does the president have that emergency power, number one? And number two, in this case, are the tariffs an appropriate exercise of that emergency power? I think the answer is yes. Why do I think that? Well, what's the problem here? The problem is that the United States for half a century has been dealt unfair trade practices by the various trade practices of our trading partners. They've taken advantage of us. They've hollowed out our manufacturing, and to the detriment of the United States. And you might take a look at it and say, well, is there an emergency today? Well, the emergency is half a century of bad economic policy where our trading partners have taken advantage of us. And the emergency is we've lost much of our manufacturing base. We don't build ships anymore. All of it a consequence of bad trade policy and bad trade deal. So that's the argument. I think the president, although he's exercising a power under this law, I think it was passed in the 1970s, something like that. But I think it's never been exercised before for tariffs, but it's been exercised for other things that are trade related. So, for instance, the president could cut off all shipments of certain products from foreign countries. He just could do it under those powers. And the question is, what's the difference between a tariff? We'll see some of the arguments here. Let's start. There's been reporting now that the questions that have come in from the Supreme Court in oral argument suggest huge skepticism of the president's position. Okay, let's see what that skepticism is. Let's begin now with Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Here we go.
And then if you win, tell me how the reimbursement process would work. Would it be a complete mess? I mean, you're saying before the government promised reimbursement, and now you're saying, oh, well, that's rich. But how would this work? It seems to me like it could be a mess.
So the first thing I'd say is that just underscores just how major a question this is. The very fact that you were dealing with this with quotas, there's no refund process to the tunes of billions of dollars or embargoes, but there is here. But for our case, the way it would work is, in this case, the government stipulated for the 5 plaintiffs that they would get the refunds. So for us, that's how it would work. Your question, I take it, is about everyone else. We don't have a class action or anything like that. With respect to everyone else, there's a whole specialized body of trade law, and it's in 19 U.S.C. 1514 outlines all these administrative procedures. It's a very complicated thing. There's got to be an administrative protest. There was a harbor management case earlier that this court was involved with in the United States Shoe, in which the refund process took a long time. There were any number of claims and equitable relief.
So a mess.
So it's difficult, okay. Absolutely. We don't deny that it's difficult, but I think what this court has said in the McKesson case in 1990 is that serious economic dislocation isn't a reason to do something. Northern Pipeline, you guys stayed your decision for a while in order to let the congressional process unfold. There may be a congressional process here as well. You may be able to also be that this court could limit its decision to prospective relief under the John Q. Hammonds case. So there's lots of possibilities.
Okay, so a couple things about that. He mentioned the 1990 McKesson case. What was the court like in 1990? Scalia had just gotten on. Thomas hadn't gotten on. That's probably a kind of standard that this court wouldn't really apply to. Oh, serious economic consequences ought not to be a consideration? I think that was a mistake by this was the Neil Katyal guy, right? That was a mistake on his part. He shouldn't have. This court is going to look at serious economic consequences differently. Then he also laid out that Hammond case, which was to look going forward. In other words, he's telling the court, well, if you guys want to say, the tariffs are bad, but we can't fix them backwards, we can fix them going forward, that's okay. All right. But to bear within the category, that's a pretty skeptical questioning. It doesn't mean she will rule against the president, but, in the 6-3 court, she's, in the 6, right? She's not the lefty Sotomayor. She's not the lefty Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's not the lefty Elena Kagan. But in that 6-3, you've got Neil Gorsuch, who's kind of the libertarian-leaning guy there. Here he was asking questions. Clip 11.
Through those words, I think you're saying that no, the president doesn't have inherent authority over tariffs in peacetime.
Absolutely. That is,
Okay.
we do not assert that. We say that Congress can delegate that to him, and when Congress does so, as it does when it uses the phrase regulated importation.
I follow
I agree.
all of that. Okay. You emphasize that Congress can always take back its powers. You mentioned that a couple of times. But don't we have a serious retrieval problem here? Because once Congress delegates by a bare majority and the president signs it, and of course every president will sign a law that gives him more authority, Congress can't take that back without a supermajority. And even that, it's going to be veto proof. What president's ever going to give that power back? Pretty rare president. So how should that inform our view of delegations and major questions?
I would look at the balance that Congress struck, because what Congress did initially, it had a 2-house legislative veto that
And
was
we
held
struck that
unconstitutional in
down.
Shada,
Yeah.
and then Congress went back to the statute and amended it.
Yeah.
It took out the legislative veto and left in the joint resolution, but still left the president with all those powers.
That's what Congress did?
Yes.
Fair enough. As a practical matter, in the real world, it can never get that power back.
I disagree, because in January 2023, Congress voted to terminate one of the biggest IEPA emergencies ever, the COVID emergency, and the president went along with that. So what the statute reflects is there's going to be the ability for a sort of political consensus against a declared emergency.
Well, what happens when the
unless
president
that's
simply
political discipline.
vetoes legislation to try to take these powers back?
Well, he has the authority to veto legislation to terminate a national emergency, for example. I mean, he retains the powers in the background because IEPA is still on the books. But if he declares an emergency and Congress doesn't like it and passes a joint resolution, yes, he can absolutely veto that.
Yeah,
Congress
Congress, as a practical matter, can't get this power back once it's handed it over to the president. It's a one-way ratchet toward the gradual but continual accretion of power in the executive branch and away from the people's elected representatives.
I disagree with that, and the recent historical counterexample of Congress's termination of the COVID emergency demonstrates that the political oversight
With
is
the
baked into
president's
statute is
assent.
meaningful.
Okay, so it's interesting the way Gorsuch is framing that. What he's talking about is the non-delegation powers of the Congress. But when the Congress can't delegate powers to the executive branch unless it specifically authorizes it. Now, the Solicitor General there, Sauer, the raspy voice guy defending the president, is making a very clear case. Says, look, the court has ruled that if Congress delegates with specificity, then that is a proper executive branch action. That's what's happened here with this emergency law. And as the Solicitor General points out, yeah, it was taken back in very specific instances in the COVID situation. All right. Now, Gorsuch doesn't seem to be buying that. Here's what I'm going to tell you about this. Gorsuch is trying to make a point. He's trying to make a point, and the point is, well, Congress, is making a mistake delegating all these powers to the executive. Well, that may be, Justice Gorsuch, but Congress has the right to delegate it. Okay? He seems to be saying, well, we got to change that. It's not the proper venue for the court. I will agree with you, if you're a skeptic on this, that it sounds like Gorsuch is going to try and break new ground on the non-delegation doctrine and say, well, just because Congress delegates this power to the president, because the executive doesn't want to give it back, that means they can't do it. I think that's a mistake, but I would agree with you. I'm not on the Supreme Court. I do think that that questioning makes you think that that's the way Gorsuch is going to rule. So if you were to kind of read the tea leaves right now, instead of 6-3, we might be looking at 5-4 or maybe 4-5. Yikes. That will be a mess. But Gorsuch, he's got that libertarian bent to him, and libertarians sometimes are not constrained by practicalities. We'll see. Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
You went to school, got the job, saved your money, but still feel stuck. There's a better path. At the Lifestyles Unlimited 2-day seminar in Richmond, November 8th and 9th, you'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth with real estate. Step by step. It's simple, it's proven, and it works. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. That's Richmond, November 8th and 9th. Text RADIO to 88007.
MyPillow and Mike Lindell are excited to announce they're having their biggest 3-in-1 sale ever. Mike loves John's listeners and viewers and says he agrees with President Trump. John has the best audience in America. Check this out. MyPillow bed sheets, any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. My Towels are finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first and only time ever, get their limited edition premium My Pillows made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. Also for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive free shipping plus $100 in free digital gifts. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla. Use your promo code Godzilla for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now. 800-854-0504, promo code Godzilla, or mypillow.com/Godzilla.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
So people have been asking me, what do I think is going to happen in the tariff case? And my guess, it's a tea leaf reading kind of thing, right? My guess is the chances of a full, complete majority Trump win is probably about 20%. I think the more likely option, 60%, is some kind of split the baby thing. Like, okay, yeah, you can't do these kind of tariffs under this law going forward, but you don't have to pay back. And then maybe 20% complete disaster. You got to give everybody, these guys, these 5 plaintiffs a refund and set up a system to give a refund for the others. The Trump team, they'll go on and they'll say, okay, well, we're going to do something else. Okay, here's the thing. What I would suggest here is that I think if you listen to the Gorsuch questioning, again, reading tea leaves, he does sound like he's probably going to be not for a full victory for Trump. And so I think the best we could hope for would be 5-4. It seems to me. Having said that, let me just suggest the following. The Trump team is very optimistic about it. Scott Bessent, who, by the way, is not an attorney, but is a very smart guy, Secretary of Treasury, he's optimistic. Let's listen to him, clip 5.
Larry, I came away very optimistic. The Solicitor General presented a strong case for the president's use of the IEEPA, the emergency tariff powers that President Trump has used to balance trade, to negotiate with the Chinese on fentanyl to secure rare earth magnets, to get the Indians to stop buying Russian oil. And that the Solicitor General made a fantastic case that the purpose of the tariffs is to rebalance global trade. We were in an economic emergency. We were near a tipping point, and you and I know exactly what that looks like. And President Trump has brought the U.S. back. On the other side, I thought that the plaintiffs almost embarrassed themselves. They clearly didn't understand foundational economics. They didn't understand the trade policy they were talking about. And I'm very optimistic after listening to the questions at SCOTUS that the IEEPA ruling is going to come President Trump and this administration's way.
Okay, so Bessent's very good. Okay. And now he said something. The plaintiffs didn't understand fundamental economics. Well, that's true. But I have news for you, Secretary of Treasury Bessent. The Supreme Court has not understood fundamental economics in many previous cases. Let's talk about the 1941 decision, Wickard v. Filburn, where they basically told a farmer in Ohio who wanted to grow wheat for his own use that he couldn't do it because it would impact the national market on wheat, which is, utterly ridiculous. Okay. But having said that, he makes the case there. Let's go on now to the Mr. Optimist, Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, who, by the way, is the ultimate sales guy. He was with, Cantor Fitzgerald and made a whole bunch of money in the stock market. Very optimistic guy. Let's see what Lutnick has to say about the arguments before the Supreme Court.
Was at the Supreme Court to watch the discussion today and joins us now. Sir, good to have you back on. What did you see today? What do you think? How do you think they're leaning?
Well, I think they're leaning toward the president. So what happened is General Sauer, our Solicitor General, was out first, and the justices were tough. Let's say they were asking him tough questions. But when the other side got up, wow, it was very, very strong. And so I left very upbeat and very positive. And I think these justices are going to come down in favor of the president's powers because he's stopping the emergency of what's happened to trade against the United States of America. Everybody knows it. And some of those discussions were really, really interesting. And that's why it's fun to be on the show to sort of talk about exactly what some of these justices said.
There was so much doom and gloom when you went down the tariff road. Everybody said this was going to be just so damning for the economy. The Atlanta Fed, and I think we have a graphic to show here, is indicating they think third quarter GDP is going to be at around 4%. That's a big number. That's a very healthy, robust number for the economy. Do you think that plays into the minds at all? If the Supreme Court's looking at this, if they saw an economy that was crashing, if they saw, indications that tariffs were really doing damage, I feel like that might impact their vote. They're not seeing that, though.
Of course, if the stock market was going, I mean, which way is the stock market going? Up, up, up. Which way is the economy going? 3.8 last quarter, estimates of 4.4% this quarter. I mean, the economy is on fire because of Donald Trump's economy is one that says tariffs, come on, build in America. The president's been saying north of $15 trillion coming to build in America. That's going to grow our economy more than 4%. It could grow our economy more than 5%. I mean, these are numbers no one's ever thought are possible for America, and it's driven by Donald Trump's trade and tariff agenda.
If this doesn't go your way, do you guys have workarounds to deal with this so that you don't lose, I think the foothold that you have with these tariffs? Are there ways to do this if the Supreme Court comes down on you the wrong way?
Sure. One of the things.
Okay, the answer is yes. They're going to have some workarounds. Look, my best guess is the court will decide within a couple months. It won't be a full victory for the plaintiffs who want to basically get rid of the tariffs. It won't be, this is a prediction, take it with a grain of salt. It won't be a full victory for Trump. It'll be a split the baby kind of thing, but ultimately it will not impede the President Trump's economic policies. There you go. I'm on the record. We'll see. If all goes well, we'll be joined after the break by Aaron Goldmanson. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
The all-new Godzilla Wins with Chris Saxman. Dude might say anything.
This week's monologue is brought to you by the rantings and raving that go on in my mind.
It's sports talk with a brain.
It's really important for America, sports, and the athletes that we have a fundamental change in collegiate sports.
Godzilla Wins, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern.
Godzilla Wins is available on X, Rumble, Getter, Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, and online at jfmn.tv.
And all across JFred's Media Network.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m.
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. Listen 24/7 with the News Talk 760 app, available in the Apple Store and Google Play.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington.
I want you, my fellow San Franciscans, to be the first to know.
A big announcement today from former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
I will not be seeking re-election to Congress. With a grateful heart, I look forward to my final year of service as your proud representative.
And Nancy Pelosi, the longest-serving female member of Congress, announcing today that she'll be bringing to a close nearly 40 years of public service. The 85-year-old made the announcement in a heartfelt video message to San Francisco voters. The White House reacting to Tuesday's election losses for Republicans.
Democrats won the governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia. Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani was elected mayor of New York City.
If you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says it was a 5-alarm fire for Donald Trump.
The Republicans' high-cost House is on fire, and they've only got themselves to blame.
Many voters expressed dissatisfaction with the president's handling of the economy. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Investors are in a bad mood today on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is down by 522 points. Justice Department prosecutors have been told to produce materials in their criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey.
A federal judge has given Trump administration prosecutors until the end of Thursday to produce grand jury materials and other evidence seized from an investigation into Comey. His attorneys said they were at a disadvantage because they had not been able to review materials gathered years ago. The judge scolded the Justice Department for adopting an indict first and investigate second approach. Comey has pleaded not guilty to charges of lying to Congress. Greg Clugston, Washington.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I thought about it for a while before I ordered them, but I love the smell of them. So it's a good thing.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off your first preferred set with free shipping as a new preferred customer by using discount code BALANCE.
And now here's Rich Thomason with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
The financial markets continue to rely heavily on corporate earnings data for insight into how the economy is doing, given the absence of government data due to the shutdown. Among today's early market movers, Lyft, its shares rose 6.2%, even as the ride-hailing app missed sales and profit targets. However, investors appear optimistic about the company's autonomous vehicle partnerships. Food delivery app DoorDash tumbled 12% overnight after warning investors it will be spending a good deal more on product development next year. The Bank of England is holding Britain's key interest rate at 4%. Inflation in the UK still runs markedly above the central bank's target for cutting rate. Tesla shareholders vote today on a pay package that could make Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Japan has deployed troops to help contain a surge in bear attacks.
The bears have terrorized residents in the northern prefecture of Akita. Bears have been seen near schools, train stations, and homes. Over 100 people have been injured and at least 12 killed in bear attacks across Japan since April. The troops will set traps and assist local hunters but won't use firearms. Akita has been the worst hit with over 50 attacks since May. Keith Peters, Washington.
And also at townhall.com, some sad news in the NFL. A Dallas Cowboys defensive end, Marshawn Kneeland, has tragically passed away at the age of 24. The team announced that he, quote, tragically passed away this morning. His agent, Jonathan Persley, meanwhile, confirms that he passed away last night. He was a second-round pick in 2024 from Western Michigan and had been playing in his second NFL season. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It is Thursday, November 6, 2025. The question of the day. Are you ready? What would Joshua Chamberlain say? What do I mean by that? Joshua Chamberlain was from Maine, a graduate of Bowdoin College. He was the hero and became a professor at Bowdoin College in Maine. And he was a Republican who served in the Civil War. He was the hero of the Battle of Gettysburg. Had he not held on to Little Round Top, That battle in 1863 might have gone another way. It was incredible, actually, his heroism, and he was injured severely during the Civil War in a way that influenced his health for the rest of his life. But he subsequently, after the Civil War, he went back and was elected governor of Maine as a Republican. And then from 1871 until 1883, this Lincoln Republican, hero of the Battle of Gettysburg, was the president of Bowdoin College. He had to resign in 1883 because his health had deteriorated, and he just couldn't do it. And he did other things, but he couldn't be president of Bowdoin College. Now, having said that, the current state of Bowdoin College illustrates the problem with higher education, elite higher education. Bowdoin College is not an Ivy League school, but it is sort of an elite Eastern private school. And Bowdoin College, they've gone very far lefty. Its most famous graduate from the class of 2014 is the mad Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, who's now the mayor-elect of New York, Zohran Mamdani. As an aside, a graduate from the class of 2017, State Representative Justin Pearson, who is now going to join the Justice Democrats and run against the incumbent Democrat, the old line liberal Steve Cohen in Memphis. Pearson's probably going to win that because he's going to get huge money, even though, well, he's not as charismatic as Zohran Mamdani, but he's just as bad ideologically. Well, went to Bowdoin College and asked the students there, a local television station, went to Bowdoin College and asked the students there, well, what do you think about this communist, Marxist, Islamist Zohran Mamdani, who's never had a job in his life, whose parents are wealthy, who lives in a rent-controlled apartment in Manhattan? That guy, what do you think of him being elected mayor of New York City? This is the future, according to the elite college students at Bowdoin College in Maine.
Long ago, Zohran Mamdani was walking the grounds here at Bowdoin College, so we talked to current students about what it means to have a Bowdoin graduate become the next mayor of New York City.
It makes me really excited, and I think I made the right choice in investing in my future.
Zohran Mamdani will take office as the next mayor of New York City on January 1st.
I think really just shows that, if we put in a lot of work here at Bowdoin, you can really do anything.
Mamdani graduated from Bowdoin College in 2014, and students on campus today were excited to see an alum succeed.
And I think it's just inspiring. It shows someone who came from a similar background as I can do big things in the world.
But some were also critical of the lack of response from the Bowdoin administration.
If you look at the college's social media posts, they were kind of a little bit aloof in it.
It felt like a cop-out, if I'm being honest, because Bowdoin's put a lot of work into praising alums, regardless of where they've ended up.
In a statement, the school wished Mamdani well and says he belongs to a long list of Bowdoin graduates who have pursued a career in public service. As a democratic socialist, Mamdani can be a polarizing figure. And while some students disagreed over his policies, everyone we spoke to viewed his win as a positive sign of where a Bowdoin degree can take you.
Regardless of where you stand politically, it's a great message for Bowdoin students and for the Bowdoin community that this is what a Bowdoin education can get you.
And while he might be a little busy, some students are still hoping he'll come back to Bowdoin and be their commencement speaker.
Oh, my goodness. I just can't take it anymore. A communist goes, an Islamist communist goes to Bowdoin College, and he becomes mayor of New York City, and all the students there love it. What does that tell you the future is? Oh, yeah. Go to Bowdoin, become a communist. Look, that's not unusual. That's the attitude of a lot of these elite Eastern colleges, and a lot of elite colleges today. Not a good thing. The New York Fire Department has a different view on that, and the New York Police Department has a very different view. The commissioner of New York Fire Department has resigned because he says he doesn't think it'd be compatible with Mamdani. You think? Here's a clip of a former New York Police Department commissioner talking about what kind of a disaster Mamdani does pose for the New York City Police Department. Clip 9.
The one backbreaker would be the Civilian Complaint Review Board.
Why? Because that sounds good to a lot of people. Get the communities involved.
Right. So you make a complaint against a cop. You have these young investigators that do not like the police department to begin with. Okay. But the final adjudication lies with the police commissioner now. If you put it in their hands, cops will not stay to jeopardize their job. Because the police commissioner says, well, you know, I know you want them terminated, but I see it differently. We'll render punishment this way. But if you leave it up to them, no cop over 20 years that remotely goes out in the street is going to take that chance for their pension, their family, and their lives. That will be a backbreaker. Now, he's on...
Well, hold on. Because people will say, yeah, then don't do anything to get you brought in front of the Civilian Complaint Review Board, and you don't have to worry about it.
Right. Mistakes are hard sometimes, easier said than done. If you want a police department that's going to be just purely reactive and not take a chance. Remember a couple years ago, the cop got the water poured on his head and stood there? You want to go back to that?
No.
Because public safety is the foundation of the city.
Yeah, that's it. And they're about to destroy it. Aaron Gomison, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show and the CEO of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, Mamdani is likely to take final punishment decisions away from the commissioner of the police department and give it to the Civilian Review Board. What could possibly go wrong with that?
I mean, the city that I was born in becomes even more of a third world country. I mean, it's very hard for a normal human being to ride the subway as it is. It's very hard for, I mean, heck, the last time my wife and I visited New York City, we were walking down a street that I walked down every day for several years of my life, and within 5 minutes, some crazy cracked out homeless guy just randomly took a tree branch, and yes, there are some trees in New York City, and just hit a woman. And this is 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the city's going to dissolve into further chaos. I'm just hoping my favorite Italian restaurant that I grew up going to just doesn't close down because of all this.
It might, actually. I mean, if you look
might.
at it. But his plan is not to run the city. It's to destroy the city and lead the destruction of the country. That's really what it is. This guy is an egomaniac. You can tell how full of himself he is.
He wants to be a national he wants to be a national communist leader. That's what it means.
Well,
to
he is in effect today, as we speak. Who is the leader of the Democratic Party? Actually, let me say, the former Democratic Party, which is now, in essence, the Communist Party of America.
Yeah,
the Communist. The Islamo-Communist Party of America.
That's right. It's Mamdani for now. I mean, we'll see. You have to remember, this is obviously the most high-profile election. It was a very strange election. You had Andrew Cuomo being the quote-unquote reasonable alternative, right? So
being
that's
a somnambulant dud of a candidate.
There's that, too.
Back with Aaron Culbertson after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, TIREGET.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours. True American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Aaron Gomendson, born in New York City, a refugee like I am from the state of New York. But you kind of took a curveball through Virginia to get here. I took a little curveball through California and Texas to get here.
Yeah, I decided to, go further south for a bit and then go much further south. And, I have impeccable timing because
you got out of Virginia just in time.
Yeah, that was a bad,
really bad. We'll get to Virginia in a bit, but back to Zoran Mamdani. He won 51% of the vote.
Yeah,
75% of voters under the age of 30 voted for him.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, he's a Gen Z type candidate, and First of all, can I make a very important point about the midterms? Why elections that happen in the midterms?
You're asking for permission. to make
I don't know why, but
why are you asking? Hold on, wait. Why are you asking for permission?
I used a device to get the audience to pay closer attention to what I'm about to say. The turnout is not the same as it is in a presidential election. So any pundit out there saying Trump lost support here and there, well, is lying or is giving you bad analysis. The what happens, and it's predictable. So I don't expect you've known this, but this is from so long ago. This is from the late 80s, early 90s. Did you ever see, what was her name? Sherry somebody, Lamb Chops Play Along.
Yeah, Sherry Lewis.
Yeah, Sherry Lewis' Lamb Chops Play Along.
I remember her
and there
well.
was a very annoying song that they did that the kids then sung a lot to their parents. And it's,
everything about that was annoying.
And it was, this is the song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. The midterm elections, these elections, other than the names and the players in some of these cases being extremely strange, it is extremely strange to have a communist being the Democrat standard bearer of a Democrat party if you're not looking at, well, the fact that it's 2025. It's not surprising, given that it's New York City anymore. It is surprising that Andrew Cuomo was the person that people were hoping would save the day, and frankly, the voters were confused. But none of these, most of this is not a surprise. This is what was supposed to happen. The script is playing out. This is what happens in a midterm election. And the party that has the White House in these they're not part of the larger whole. These extremely off year elections, because 2025 had a few states and that was it. But there should be no reason for despair. Now, what the status quo that exists is Republicans need to figure out, and we need to figure out, those of us that don't want President Trump to get impeached, because I assure you that is what Democrats will do on day one.
I mean, Democrats take control of the House. The first thing they do is they impeach. It's 2 years of impeachment.
Yeah, we need to push Republican turnout, because here's the thing. This is why the turnout is always lower in these kinds of elections. The party that is out of power is ticked off, and so they show up in greater, this is why Obama had his problems in the midterms, right?
Mm-hmm.
The party that is in power, their supporters, unfortunately, and this is human nature, frankly, being stupid, but this is just true, if you're happy with President Trump's governance, you are less likely to show up in a low turnout election. And that's unfortunately...
You're not angry.
You're not angry.
Like, by the way...
Yeah.
Mamdani was not gracious.
Oh, no.
He was angry.
Yeah.
He's coming after everybody who's not a Muslim or a Marxist.
Well, and it's a good thing my father lives in Long Island.
Really?
This is what was supposed to happen. I see people out there going, oh, we have to change tactics and blah, blah, blah. No, we have to make sure that we continually make our case to the American people, and we need to, frankly, bash Republican voters upside the head with the importance of what the 2026 elections mean. Locally here in Tennessee, we need to bash Republican voters in the 7th Congressional District upside the head of what the alternative is if Matt Van Epps doesn't win. The alternative is someone worse than Mamdani, Afton Bain, who sides with child and human traffickers in her legislative record, and also does everything she actually, in my opinion, she should be in prison because of what she did to the ICE agents and interfering with a federal immigration enforcement operation. But this is what has to happen. And Virginia happened pretty much what was expected. People go, oh my gosh, how did the AG candidate who talked about murdering the former Speaker of the House, Todd Gilbert, win, blah, blah, blah.
Well, hold it. Now, you lived in Virginia for some time. It's a different political world than Tennessee by a long shot.
Oh, I got out. Well, first of all, I got out when the going was good, but people forget, over the summer, there was a big scandal in the lieutenant governor's race on the Republican side involving John Reed, who was the first openly homosexual Republican nominee for lieutenant governor.
Well, the scandal wasn't about that per se, but it was about.
But I have to say there were.
But it was related issues.
There were things that were going on in that election that didn't help either side, but things returned to form. Winsome Sears personally is a very nice lady, but she was the world's worst candidate
by far
for governor.
If you wanted to see like a foretelling of election night, you saw it on election morning on Fox and Friends. I don't know if you
no.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. So they did the in diner interview, right?
Yeah.
Where they had a bunch of people in a diner, and then they had for both Jack Ciattarelli in New Jersey, and also supposedly Winsome Sears in Virginia. Now Ciattarelli was there. He kind of had a little misstep along the way, but not major.
A New Jersey politician having a misstep. I'm
know.
shocked.
I mean, he said something that was not. It was just, when you have somebody in the diner, you want to always be complimentary to that person in the diner.
Right.
He said something which is probably about an older lady that just didn't sit well with her.
Yeah.
In terms of his description of her.
Yeah.
Shall we say. So that was, to me, I said, oh, the guy's not quite all there in terms of reading the room.
Well, he's a New Jersey politician.
But he was there, and he was trying to read the room.
Yeah.
But so Steve Ducey's there at this diner in Virginia near Richmond. Poor guy. Apparently, Winsome Earl Sears had been there, but just before they went on air, she left. And so there's Steve Ducey. The camera goes to him. She's apparently just left, and now he's trying to vamp. All right? That tells you the kind of campaign Winsome Earl Sears ran.
Yeah, no, listen, when Winsome won her lieutenant governor's race, she didn't really win it.
She was on the coattails of
She was on the coattails
Glenn
of
Youngkin.
Terry McAuliffe's screw-up, which is what handed Glenn Youngkin the race. I told everybody at the time, quite frankly, that the Republicans didn't win 4 years ago. It was Terry McAuliffe who handed them the election, and it was 70,000 votes. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a giant percentage of the vote. The state is gone, unfortunately.
It is totally gone.
My friends who still live there lament that fact. The honest thing is Winsome was a terrible candidate for governor. The reason that but here's the thing. The reason Jason Miar is as the sitting attorney general, and sitting attorney generals tend to get Republican nominations over lieutenant governors when they're in that fight in Virginia, he didn't go for it because he knew that the top of the ticket was going to lose regardless of who it was. So if Winsome wasn't the worst candidate in the world at the top of the ticket, whoever it was,
she
still
was very
would have
close
lost
to it.
by 8 to 10 points.
Well, now that's a very good point. So if Myers, and this is back to the point, if an attorney general candidate who has publicly said that he wanted to literally kill the Republican Speaker of the Virginia House and kill his children.
Yeah.
Right? That guy, and he had all sorts of other legal problems.
Yeah.
But Jason Myers, who is, a fantastic attorney general.
Yep.
He lost by 6.5 points.
Yeah.
That tells me that Virginia is gone.
No, it is gone. And look, all the bad. Let's see, and tell me if I'm missing one of the states. So we had terrible results in New York City, Virginia, California, and New Jersey. Right?
These are all in the dirty dozen blue states.
None of those states did Trump win in any of his elections. Right? So this is just these states acting to form. We don't like the results. And unfortunately, you've got commentators that have to push, their clicks and then also people on social media looking for their likes. But in other words, ladies and gentlemen, Republicans lost on Tuesday, and the sky is blue because it was always supposed to happen. Unfortunately.
When we come back, what's wrong with Oscar Brock?
Oh, let me count the ways.
Who is he? Well, we'll tell you when we get back. And what has he done wrong? We'll tell you that when we get back. Back after this, I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, and also the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, Aaron Goldmanson. Aaron, I've got a Tennessee political question for you here.
All right.
Well, really two questions. We'll start off with this. Who is Oscar Brock, and why does he matter?
I think those are the same question, but he is Tennessee's elected by the Tennessee State Executive Committee of the Republican Party of Tennessee. He is the national committeeman, which is one of three representatives from Tennessee that goes and votes at the Republican National Committee.
There are the Republican National Committee has like 160 something.
Yeah,
members.
and they're the governing body. So he's part of both the governing body of the Tennessee State Executive Committee of the Republican Party, and he's part of the governing body of the National Republican National Committee. So,
and he's been in that role for some time.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how long, but it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
Now, my next question, now that we know who he is and why he matters, I'm going to read something that he posted on a social media outlet. I think it was Facebook, a little over a week ago.
Okay.
I'm going to read the entire thing. It's going to take a while to read it, and then I'm going to ask you a question about it. Here's what Oscar Brock, the Republican National Committeeman from Tennessee, who is also on the executive committee of the Tennessee Republican Party, here's what he posted. Government shutdown now at 4 weeks. Lots of pain for lots of people, and getting worse. SNAP benefits run out next week for millions who rely on those funds to buy groceries. The House passed a continuing resolution to keep the government open until they could pass a budget, but the Senate couldn't pass it. However, instead of working to pass the budget, the House just went home. No negotiating and no compromising and no budget, and there's no end in sight. We'll come back to that in a bit. Let's get to the key issue here. I'm not being partisan. I'm simply sick and tired of Congress being unable or unwilling to do the job we elected them to do. In the meantime, I'm going to make a donation to our local food bank, and I'm not going to support any, all caps, I'm not going to support any member of Congress who runs for re-election next year. Now, my question to you is, how does the Republican National Committeeman from Tennessee, a member of the executive committee of the Tennessee Republican Party, how does he get away with saying something like that?
Well, I'm going to expound on this, but I'm going to first answer your question with another question. Is that his official resignation letter? Because the job of the National Committeeman of the Tennessee Republican Party, any Republican Party, insert state name here, is to support Republican nominees. And he's saying he's not going to support any of the congressmen. So, well, there's 8 Republican congressmen there's about to be 8 Republican congressmen from the great state of Tennessee once Matt Van Epps beats Afton Bain. And so he's not going to support any of them. So
yeah, this is kind of, this was sort of one of these, what are you saying this? Because his job, your job as a member of the executive committee of the Tennessee Republican Party,
yeah,
and as the Republican National Committeeman from Tennessee, is to support Republican candidates for national and local office. We've got there are 6 incumbent members of the House of Representatives who are Republicans, and they're running for re-election.
Yep.
Right? There's one U.S. Senator, Bill Hagerty, running for re-election. Oscar Brock just said he's not going to support Bill Hagerty, the incumbent senator.
Yep.
He's not going to support Andy Ogles, David Kustoff, Diane Harshberger, Scott Desjardins, Chuck Fleshman, Tim Burchett. How can you maintain your role on the Tennessee Republican Party Executive Committee and make that statement?
Michael, I mean, this is kind of a rickety comparison here, but it would be as if you were deciding, ladies and gentlemen, the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, I'm going to still have my show here, but I'm going to throw the microphones in the trash, and it's going to sit here with white noise and silence, right? So, which that's to say is your job hosting a radio show is to host the radio show.
Yes.
Oscar Brock has just publicly announced that he is not going to do his job as National Committeeman at the least. He is providing aid and comfort to the Democrats that are going to be challenging all of these Republican congressmen. And, if that wasn't his official statement of resignation from his position as National Committeeman, he absolutely needs to resign. So with that said, I want to ask right now, when is Oscar Brock resigning? I will be calling my good friend Scott Golden, chairman of the Tennessee Republican Party, later, asking him the same question. And I'll probably go through my Rolodex on my phone today and ask several people around the state what they think of this topic. But absolutely, and I'll underscore the point. This is not the first time that Oscar Brock has opposed at least the president's agenda. He opposed the president's platform last time and removed duly elected Republican delegates that were Trump delegates to the Republican National Convention. But this is basic. This doesn't matter what faction of the party you're in. If you're saying that you are not supporting any Republican congressman, and he's going to, he may try and cover himself by saying, I said any congressman. Well, most of them are Republican congressmen in the great state of Tennessee. Yeah. So you've just announced you're not doing your job. It's like a fry chef going into the McDonald's saying, I am going to stand here, but I'm not going to make fries.
Exactly. Now, I think there are innumerable bylaws.
Oh, he violated the heck out of the bylaws.
Which he's violated with that statement. And I think that is something that is quite significant, that he has basically violated the bylaws. So I am going to join you right now, Aaron, and call for Oscar Brock to resign from the executive committee of the Tennessee Republican Party for failure to execute his duties and responsibilities. And that means to also resign as the Republican National Committeeman from the state of Tennessee.
Yep.
It seems to me that's the right thing to do.
I think it would be the right thing to do. I think that as this news is spreading and my phone is starting to blow up as well, there will be more people echoing these sentiments. Again, unfortunately, with people's attention span, you have to repeat yourself. The job of, and unfortunately, some people in Republican politics don't hold this view, but the truth is, the only job of anybody with a title in the Republican Party is to support and elect Republicans, Republican nominee. That's your job, is not to try to exercise influence on what you think Donald Trump should be doing with the shutdown, which is what Oscar Brock is trying to do.
Right. So I think now I'm going to go one step further. So if Oscar Brock does not resign his position, I'm going to ask Scott Golden and other members of the executive committee of the Republican Party to convene an emergency meeting. And for one purpose, to remove Oscar Brock from the executive committee of the Tennessee Republican Party. That seems to me to be something that they really ought to do.
Yeah, I think they should. And my understanding of the bylaws, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong later on down the line, but I think it just requires a simple motion and a simple majority.
Okay, let's shift to another Tennessee topic. So Bill Leahy, who's been on a pretty good run of late, reacted very quickly to the election of the leftist, Islamist, Marxist Mamdani to mayor of New York City, who wants to raise all the taxes on business. He has a message for those businesses. Here we go. Governor Bill Leahy.
Hey, everybody. Tennessee Governor Bill Leahy. In light of the recent election results, I thought it might be a good time to remind you that Tennessee is the best state in the country for doing business. If you are a New York City business owner and you don't like the direction your city has headed, I have a message for you that Tennessee is open for business. We have one of the strongest economies in the country. We have one of the lowest tax bases in the country. We have a workforce that is ready for any industry, a workforce that is ready to meet the needs of your company. And our Department of Economic and Community Development is ready to help you make a move right now. In fact, Tennessee is one of the most moved to states for families, for people, for companies from around the globe, because we believe that opportunity and security and freedom are important for everyone. We also believe in the power of law enforcement, by the way, and we understand that the men and women who keep our families, keep our communities safe, need to be supported, and we do so in our state. I want you to know that if you're looking for an opportunity, you've found one in the state of Tennessee. We are here. Our way of life, our music, our culture, our food, our hospitality, and our business-friendly environment might just be right for you.
So there we go. That has 3.9 million views on X, which I think is very timely. Now, Monty Fritz, clip one, we'll get Monty Fritz on this. All I heard from him there, he didn't say we're going to give you any money. He said our Department of Economic Development will help you.
He said we have a better state that's freer and a better environment to make money, so get here.
Here's Monty Fritz, who's running for governor at 5% in the polls, behind Marcia at 59%. Kind of misunderstanding what the governor said there. Go ahead with Monty.
Hey, friends, it's Monty Fritz, candidate for governor of the great state of Tennessee. Some things are so overwhelming, they deserve 2 posts in one day. I saw the Nashville establishment, Governor Leahy, had put out a text offering to extend the arm of corporate welfare to New Yorkers, New York City folks who were disappointed by the election last night. I think it's a sad thing.
Okay, so he misstated. He said to extend the arm of corporate welfare. That's not what the governor said. But it's Monty Fritz, right?
It's Monty Fritz. Listen, it echoed in a different way something that his compadre, state Senate candidate Gary Humboldt said, which is I'm reading the tweet right now. This is one big hell no, Governor Bill Lee, you were an embarrassment. So,
but they're misrepresenting what the governor said.
They don't care what the governor said. Their position is they don't want Tennessee to make any more money. They don't want Tennessee to expand the tax base without raising taxes, and they hate prosperity, and they don't like what has made Tennessee great, and that's their problem.
Hey, Aaron, when we come back, guess what?
News potpourri.
News potpourri. Back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Aaron Gulbranson, official guest host of the program, is here with us in studio. Aaron, you know what time of day it is? It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program where we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of irony. We got a lot of things here. The governor of West Virginia, Pat Morrisey, I think that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
The governor has just sent out a message to residents of Virginia, very similar to the message that Governor Bill Leahy of Tennessee sent out to businesses from New York City. Leave Virginia, come to West Virginia. I think that's a good move by him.
Highly ironic if you look at history. Also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Going back to why do we have a state of West Virginia? Yeah. It was created in 1863 or 64 during the Civil War. And they were, West Virginians were not slave owners for the most part.
Right.
Right.
And then, of course, West Virginia usually was Democrat in terms of the statewide presidential elections for a much longer time, and then they came around, and as the main Virginia has gone to hell in a handbasket. So
I got a couple sports stories for you.
All right.
Do you remember the coach at Northwestern University, Pat Fitzgerald? He played linebacker there and then went on to the coaching staff and was a head coach for 17 years. Northwestern, typically kind of the doormat of the Big Ten, under his coaching did very well. They went to a couple bowl games, and then he was fired unceremoniously, reportedly because he had not stopped hazing. 2 years later, guess what? He's been totally vindicated. The settlement, he has a settlement with Northwestern. The president who fired him has been fired.
There you go.
There you go. And guess where Pat Fitzgerald wants to be a coach again? I'm all for that. Go get him, Pat. What do you have for us today?
Well, I mean, we were talking about it during the break, and the more I read it, the more it's just bizarre. But in a tragedy, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. In a tragedy, Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Nealon died at the age of 24 in what police are calling an apparent suicide. The story gets more weird because, and by the way, he actually literally scored a touchdown by scooping up on November 3rd.
He scored a touchdown on November 3rd.
Yeah, and then
in the game, he played a fair amount.
And then, sadly died a few days later. Frisco police said that they began assisting Texas Department at 10:39 p.m. local time on November 5th. They began assisting Texas Department of Public Safety with, quote, locating a vehicle that evaded troopers during a pursuit. The police lost sight of the vehicle but relocated it minutes later, having crashed on Dallas Parkway heading southbound. Nealand was later identified as the individual who fled the scene, according to the release. Police then found Nealand dead at 1:31 a.m. And, while they're saying, an apparent suicide, they haven't official. I don't think they've officially released the cause of death. So that's very.
It's weird. There's something else going on there.
Yeah, it's a strange story.
It is really, really, really beyond strange.
TMZ is reporting self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yeah,
which that's Very, very strange.
Here's a story. You remember Tina Peters? She's from Colorado. She was a county there. She was an election official in Mesa County. A hardcore leftist judge and prosecutor charged her with interfering with the 2020 election. She basically called in a forensic expert after the event to kind of look at some documents and look at some of the IT information.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that may have been a little bit, beyond the normal boundary of activity, but probably not illegal. But they've convicted her. She's like 69, 70 years old. She's a Gold Star mom. She's in a state prison, and her health is failing. This is a travesty of justice, if there ever was one. Now, the Department of Justice has asked for her to be transferred out of Colorado into federal custody. I think that that probably ought to happen if there's fairness in the world, but I'm not so sure. What do you think?
I would say so. Well, this will be a movie that I'm not going to go see. Did you know that they were coming out with a Michael Jackson biopic?
Oh my gosh! No! Stay away from that.
Yeah, for a variety of reasons.
Speaking of states that are gone, Virginia's gone. Maine is about to be gone. In an election last night, voter ID for elections lost by 22 points in Maine. And red flag gun laws were approved by 20 points. I think Maine's lost.
Yeah.
And, our friend at the Maine Wire has done great work documenting how the Chinese drug dealers have basically taken over the growing of marijuana and related products up there. It's a crooked state, basically.
Well, you can't have election integrity without voter ID laws. It's the first law that the Democrats get rid of. It's the first law that Republicans pass. It's the most important law for election integrity. That's a shame, as they say. And of course, all the blue states, New York, California, Virginia had a very, very strong voter ID law for a long time.
Yeah.
And Democrats said, "See ya."
Exactly. Our buddy Vivek Ramaswamy, who is running for governor of Ohio as a Republican, just got an endorsement of a major labor union.
It's Ohio.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Up next, Rob Carson. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Central Time. The website, TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Thanks for joining us. This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody. Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door that that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
Flatfeenashville.com, flatfeenashville.com.